his daughter. And I want to thank you all for coming and saying goodbye to my dad. It's funny because, you know, I was telling Demi and Ron, you know, I'm really not a memorial service, funeral type girl, but I do see that it's important for all of you, for all of us to say goodbye properly. So my dad didn't know he was sick. He's an optimist. So he was I saw him at the end of July. That was the last kind of selfie we took when he was healthy, or that we thought he was healthy. And had dinner. I noticed he lost a little weight, but I was like, well, maybe he should stop having that bowl of ice cream every night. But no, that wasn't the case. But then at the end of August, he let me know that he had gone to urgent care because he had a pain in his abdominal area. And I know, you know, at memorial services, you're supposed to talk about their life, you know, your person's life. But I want to tell you a little bit about his death. Because it happened fast and some of you don't know what happened. What happened to John? So he had some abdominal pain, and finally, after persistent pain, he finally took himself to urgent care, and they said, oh, they did an x-ray, you have gallstones, you're probably going to have your gallbladder out, so you're going to go to a surgeon. The surgeon said, did a CAT scan, oh, you've also got a spot on your liver, so what I want to do is do an MRI and see what I got to deal with there, because maybe I can just take care of both things at the same time. Okay, so you go for the MRI, oh, guess what, you have masses on your liver, and you're going to have a biopsy. And so that's when my dad let me know, hey, this is the deal, I don't know what's going to happen. And he started telling me, I think I have $1,250 with the Musicians Union and life insurance, and I got my bases, and that's it. And I'm like, Dad, let's not talk about that. That's not a conversation we're having. So anyway, the day of his biopsy was his birthday, September 20th. He was 77, went into the hospital, and he had become so jaundiced and yellow that they told him it's not safe for you to leave. So they admitted him, and he had, if any of you know my dad very long, you know he carried a man purse, right? I called it a man purse. It was just, you know, my funny thing to say. And my son now, he has it now. They gave it to him. He wanted it. But in there, he had a Franklin planner. And I've known he's carried Franklin planners, you know, forever. I mean, but we went into his house, and he had archived Franklin planners from like 1995 saved. And you could go through each one, and he had the same system, you know, X if it got canceled, arrow if it moved, check if it was done, and then he had like really a diary of everything he did every day, and every dollar he ever spent, and like calls he made, and who he talked to, and about what. It was amazing. Wow. I know. I don't even know where I was going with that. Does anybody notice him? Well, yeah, I'll get to that, but thank you. I will tell that just because you mentioned it, because who knows, I'm going to go off on all kinds of tangents because this is already out. What you know, Ilani is referring to is he wrote in that every single day, and then for his whole life. And I didn't really know this till now, but he wrote that every single day, his whole life. And so when we looked in his planner after the fact, you know, we saw, okay, September 20th, he had all kinds of things he was going to do that day. He was going to go to this consult, and then he was going to go to the Secretary of State and renew his driver's license, or his tabs, because, you know, his birthday. And he, you know, had a job that night. He had things to do. He was very busy. But, you know, he wrote in his diary, okay, I can't do these things. They had X's on him because he couldn't do the rest of the things. And he went and he wrote, they're keeping me, they're admitting me, and then who he saw. And then I came that day, and then Ron and Demi came that day, Ron, English, and Demi. I want to say right now, before I forget, Ron and Demi, thank you. Anyway, so he was talking on the phone to us and writing in that every single day, all the way to the 25th, which is a Tuesday. He just stopped altogether. That was the last entry on the 25th, and that's when he stopped talking to us on the phone too, and so that's when we knew it was serious. And my Uncle Jim and his beautiful wife Fatima, we go see him, and we realized a couple weeks ago how serious it was. And we had some hard days together. So he just declined. Then my Aunt Elani came, and her beautiful husband Manuel came into town. Elani got the feeling of how serious it was, and she came into town, and then 5 days later he passed. And he didn't even get to, he opened his eyes one time and saw my Aunt Elani, right? But by that time, he was going. He was going, and I knew it. And I wasn't ready. None of us were ready, and my dad wasn't ready, and that's what happened. So now you know. But here we are. Here we are. Thanks for listening. And I just want to again thank you to, my family members who have shown up and visited him when they could, my cousins, and it is the family I want to talk about really quick. You may or may not know that I didn't know my dad till I was 10, really. I remember his face when I was like 3, but I don't remember him because he just visited us a couple times. He was in New York. We lived in the Detroit area. Actually, my mom was going to open university, and we lived in Rochester in this little apartment in a pink house. And my dad came to visit, I think 2 times that I know of. It could have been more, but I don't have any pictures from that time. I do have pictures of when my dad, when we would go visit him in New York when I was very little, like under a year and a half. And I have those pictures. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Okay, good. Yes, please play this slideshow. We found these pictures in his house. Many of them I've never seen before in my life. When my dad was young, little, a baby, and I had never ever seen these pictures. He loved to eat. He loved to eat. So anyway, my dad, he was in New York. We were here. My mom and dad were still married, but they were kind of living their own lives. But my mom never said a bad word about him. She just said, "I always really loved your dad. I always really loved your dad." And that was it. That was the end of it. We did live there for a minute in New York with him when I was 7 for part of 2nd grade, and it was kind of cool. I had, this is my dad, and I remember it really well. I have a couple of pictures. There's 2 pictures in here from that time. But it didn't work out for a variety of reasons, and we came back to Michigan, and I didn't really see my dad again until I was 10. He came back, and he got sober, and he was my dad. And we see each other at first. He'd pick us up, and it's so funny. I saw Pam Holiday is here today with her youngest daughter, Kate. I cried when I saw him because I haven't seen them in years. But my dad and Doug were friends. They used to take us to movies. Well, one movie, I was 10, remember, and his daughter's Doug's daughter's younger than me. They took us to see Quest for Fire. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but it's not appropriate for little girls. So we left the movie early. But anyway, then what I want to say, during that time I did not have my dad. I had my dad's family. And that's one thing my mom recognized, is that the Danas, she called them the Danas, were wholesome and good, and they were kind of the surrogate for my dad, but my dad couldn't be there. And, my mom was in college, and she was young, and she didn't have any money, and she was trying real hard, and, she was really a free spirit. And my dad wasn't there. And so, but my dad's family was there, and I lived with the Brodericks, my Aunt Ruth and her husband, my dad's sister Ruth and her husband Russ. I lived with them for a time. I lived with my dad's mom, who lived around the corner there from them in Lamont, Michigan, so spent lots of time with them, lived with my Aunt Leilani and Uncle Hamid before my dad came back, and so had a lot of family being there in place of my dad. So I'm very thankful for that. My mom was thankful for it, and I know my dad was thankful for it. Anyway, he did come back, and he stayed in Detroit. And I moved in with him and Aunt Lorraine and Uncle Hammond again, because he was living there with Aunt Lorraine and Uncle Hammond. And so I spent sixth grade I spent getting to know my dad. And my dad was the first adult who would sit on my bed and listen to me talk for hours, way past my bedtime. And I just talk and talk and talk. And he'd listen and listen. And he's the first adult who ever really listened to me. And he was my first real best friend. He really was. And he was there when it mattered. He was there for dance recitals, and I got in a car accident when I was 13. Somehow, I got ejected from a back of a car, and I was in a hospital, and he was there. And then I played soccer, and he came to my games. Hi, Michelle. I see you. He came to my soccer games, and he bought me my first boom box, you know. And he asked my friend Chantel, what kind of music should I get? Oh, you need to get a Graham tape. So we got that, and he tolerated listening to it. And then he'd let me take it on our road trips when we'd go to West Michigan for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I'd talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then he'd listen to like Depeche Mode and the Violent Femmes and like Prince and music he was not interested in. He'd be like, those are very interesting lyrics. You know, and he would indulge me. Anyway, he was also there when I found out I was pregnant at age 22. And he loved me through that. And when I had a long labor that turned into emergency C-section, he was there and he held my hand and he was there for my son being born. And through my 2 marriages and divorces, he stood by me. So he wasn't just my dad, he was my friend. And we like the same movies and characters, and we talk about shows, and we talk about the things of this world and the things not of this world, and I will miss that. And that's what I asked my son on the way here, what will you miss about Grandpa? He said his voice. The last couple of years, you know, during our visits, he's lingered a little less and less because a woman came into his life. Her name is Kitty, because he had to get home to Kitty, his cat, who adopted him and insisted that he be her person, and so he would stay at, you know, to hang out or feeling together. It's much less, and have to get home to Kitty, and loved that cat. He had his companion. He's lovely, actually. He's very sweet. And he, I have Kitty now. She doesn't love me yet, but she will. Anyway, you do get to know a parent a little better when they die, because, you know, you see these pictures that you've never seen, you see these planners, and have the family get to come together and tell stories. I'm finished. I don't have anything more to say, I don't think. I'm sorry if I missed anything, but thank you so much. And thank you for being here to say goodbye to my dad, John.
Thank you.